Let me tell you something that nobody is talking about. Once you hit the $10,000 milestone, it's not just your bank account that changes. You hit a mentality shift. You're not just somebody who's trying to get ahead anymore. You are somebody who is getting ahead, and now you have an objective measure to prove it. Once that mentality shift sets in, your psychology around money starts to change, and you transition from seeing things from a scarcity mentality to an abundance mentality. Hi, my name is Anthony, and I've accumulated a portfolio of over $400,000 before the age of 25. Before you hit that $10,000 mark, often you see money a little bit differently. You think, oh, that's for other people, or maybe someday I'll have that. But you never really think that's truly gonna be you. You never deep down think, oh yeah, I'm gonna have that. You may save a little bit of money here, save a little bit of money there, and then boom, your check engine light goes off, and there goes your savings. And let me tell you, from personal experience, I know that really sucks. But once you finally hit that $10,000 mark in your bank account and you can see it, that mentality becomes reality. You start to reach a stride and you think, well, if I could make it to $10,000, why can't I make it to $25,000 or $50,000? And then once you hit $50,000, you say, why not $100,000 or even $1 million? It's no longer a fantasy. It's just a matter of work. For me, seeing my bank account go from 4 figures to 5 figures was super huge. It was eye-opening and it was super motivating. I'm a big Arnold Schwarzenegger fan. I saw the clip of him saying, every time I go to the gym and I hit these reps, I'm having to do it with a smile on my face because all the other guys are in there and they're doing the same thing I'm doing, but they look pouty, they're not happy about it, they're not motivated to do it, they're just going through the motions. And he said, oh, I was so happy to do it. I was getting closer towards my goal. Every single rep I was doing, I was that much closer to becoming Mr. Universe. And that's how I felt once I reached that 5 figures in the bank account. I crossed over that $10,000 milestone. Every paycheck I got, I took a portion of that money and I sent it away into an investment account, and I felt like I was Arnold Schwarzenegger doing a rep, and I was getting that much closer to my goal. Before you crush this milestone, you're in survival mode. Every unexpected expense seems heavy, every bill that you have is stressful, and you just can't seem to get ahead. Half of your brain is always focused on money. It can impact your ability to have mental clarity, mental peace, and to achieve happiness. And for this reason, crushing that $10,000 milestone is super important for more than one reason. Not only are you going to have more money and have that mentality shift from scarcity to abundance, but now you're going to have some breathing room. You know that if an unexpected expense, your car needs a new alternator or a battery or something, it's not going to break your bank. You may feel more comfortable at this amount of money to send your car to a mechanic to repair. If you're anything like me, you go take your car to the mechanic tells you it's going to cost you an outlandish amount of money. And you're like, forget that. I'm going to go to O'Reilly's. You go to O'Reilly's, you buy the part, you're at home, you're watching a YouTube video on how to put the part in, and then you're halfway through the video and you realize you don't have that tool. So then you get back in somebody else's car, drive to the auto parts, buy that tool, go back, start working on it again, and then finally, after spending the whole weekend working on this project to save you a couple $100, you bought a new tool, you possibly put the part incorrectly, you don't have mental peace on if it was done right, and it ends up costing you the same amount of money as it probably take you to go to the mechanic and get it done. That's what you can bypass. Once you have this comfortability, you have that breathing room, you can pay to have a professional repair your car, you can buy your time back, and your time's your most important thing you have. Now, the purpose of this video isn't just to talk about a mentality shift, which is important. As you accumulate more and more money, your money can start working for you better. It can start accumulating interest, and I don't know if you've heard of him. His pretty smart guy, Albert Einstein, compared compound interest to the 8th wonder of the world. You want to start activating that. Albert Einstein, pretty smart guy. Try to put yourself on what he's saying. To put it into perspective, take a 10% return. At $10,000, that's $1,000. Now you have $11,000, which the next time around, if you didn't add anything to it, would be $110. If you get to $100,000, now you're getting $10,000. And you can see where this is going. It starts to amass quickly. Once you reach $1 million, now you're getting $100,000. You want to activate compound interest. That's not the only thing, though, that you can do with your money at this point. Now, you have enough money to where you can start investing in if you wanted to start a business venture, if you had some sort of equipment that you couldn't afford prior that can unlock new income sources to you, you now have that at your disposal. You have more opportunities, more choices to do with this money, and that expands just a whole different array of things to what you can now make more money with. So we've identified some important things about crossing this milestone. We've identified the mentality shift. We've identified that now you can activate compound interest. You now have money to invest in things. You have mental clarity, and that's a great thing, but now you need to protect that. So we're going to be talking about how to protect your savings that you have so you don't wipe out all the progress you worked so hard for. A lot of people, they self-sabotage their progress. They've worked so hard to accumulate a savings, and then they stop doing the very thing that helped them build up that savings. Now that you've reached this amount, this isn't your end line. It's not, now I can start spending my money. You can spend your money strategically, like we talked about, if you wanted to start a business venture, whatever it is, but you don't want to see that as an opportunity to be like, okay, now I can go put this as a down payment on a car that I can't afford. Boom, there goes all of your progress. You've now declined the compound effect. You're now paying interest to people, and you don't want that to happen to yourself. The goal of reaching $10,000, it's just a stepping stone, and you got to treat it as a stepping stone so you can continue to progress forward. Now, I'm not doing this to, if you have fallen into one of those traps where you purchased a car with the money that you saved and now you feel like you're back to square one. That's not to shame you for that. The world sets these traps for people and they present it as a financially responsible thing to do. Oh, now you have a reliable car. Right, you can get a reliable car. You don't need to spend $50,000 to do it, though. Some of the other financial pitfalls that people will fall into after reaching this category is now they'll start doing more shopping. They'll look at expensive clothes, maybe some jewelry, or a designer vacation that they want to go on. And then they end up back in the same spot that they were before with more things. Now, hopefully they didn't go out and spend more than that they had, because once you start spending, you're treating that muscle. You want to feed into, it's like having a good angel and a bad angel on your shoulder. You want to feed the good angel that's telling you, hey, invest this money, delayed gratification. You will appreciate your younger self later. Or you could spend the muscle of spending money. And eventually you get really good at spending money and you won't have any. If you do have credit card debt, this is a great point to start paying that off, because 20 to 25% interest rate, often these cards will have even higher. You're not going to beat that with any investment that you're going to have. So that's why it's a good idea to go and pay off these high interest credit card debts that you have. You now have $10,000 in savings. Start attacking some of those things that are killing your gains. It's really hard to do these things that we've been talking about of avoiding that lifestyle creep. That's why you need to automate the process, create a system, and remove yourself from the decision-making process. Now, I know that sounds crazy to remove yourself from the decision-making process, but our mind is just centered on looking at that shiny object. Delayed gratification is not something that just comes naturally to people. What this could mean is you're going to invest X into savings, or you're going to invest X% into investments, or I'm going to allocate this amount of money towards a business venture. Have some sort of system so that when your money comes in, it's not just put into one account and you get paid bills and everything gets jumbled in together. That's a recipe for disaster. You want to have structure so a certain percent of your money can go towards spending, a certain amount of money can go towards this. And when you do get a raise, try to not factor that into more spendings. Follow that system of just increasing those percents to all of the different things. So each different category is now being increased. You're increasing your savings percent, you're increasing your spending percent, so all different areas of your life slowly increase, rather than just getting a 3% raise at work and being like, boom, now I have 3% more money to spend. That'll just get blended in and you won't really see long-term progress that way. Something that you can do that can be beneficial for tracking your progress would be generating a net worth. Now, what you do for this is calculate what all of your assets are worth and then subtract your debts. That number is your net worth. And you should recalculate this once every month so that you can see your progress. And if you just hit this goal and you take one thing away from this video, let it be this 4-step process. First, automate the system. 2, separate your growth money from your survival money. 3, increase your savings rate before your lifestyle. And 4, set up a net worth tracker and update it every month to follow your progress. Don't underestimate how powerful this milestone is for you. You've unlocked a mindset shift. You now can activate the compound effect. You can start tracking your net worth now, measuring your progress, shifting from feeling stuck to now capable. If you are stuck in trying to reach this goal, hit this video here. I talk about how to go from $0 to $10,000 as quickly as possible.